Good morning, friends. It's Brittany Valadez here for BravelyDaily.com. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Duck Dynasty, the revival. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure to do so below. And of course, follow me on social media. I will put all of that in the description box below. All right, let's get started. I'm going to let you know what I thought of the Duck Dynasty revival, and I will give you a spoiler, but I will make sure to say spoiler alert if you want to wait for the show. So, as we know, it's been several years since Duck Dynasty was on air, and I am a huge fan of Sadie Robertson. I love her content, I love her podcast, and I love her family. And I've interviewed like Will and Corey, and even Sadie. I haven't put Sadie on the channel. I should definitely put that up. And so we're now seeing the revival of all the family coming together. And the family has obviously increased. Sadie has gotten married. She has kids of her own. She's another one on the way. And of course, she has her brother, JohnLuke, and Bella. And I was seeing some interviews where Bella was talking about a struggle with infertility. And then Sadie's pregnant. People have been asking her, when is the gender reveal going to be revealed? And is it going to be in the first episode? No, it's not in the first episode. And she even said it on social media. So it's in a future episode. And it makes sense. Obviously, you kind of want to wait for that huge thing to come up. But yes, as far as I know, she has not given birth yet. And so you're going to see all of Will and Corey's kids with their kids now. So other things you're going to see on the show is you're going to see a family breakdown of, the parents and their kids and then their kids' kids. You're going to see Miss K. Miss K is going to be she is the adopted daughter of the family, one of the adopted children. She gives birth to her third child, and she tells a funny story about how she found out she was pregnant. She was actually going to a doctor visit to get chest implants or something, and she was talking to Ms. K about this. Really funny how it happens. Basically, going back to the storyline, it's Willie trying to go around and find who could replace him in the family and take over Duck Commander. They ended up having a sort of duck shooting, I think, or shooting something competition, and to see who could overtake, Duck Commander, because if you're going to overtake Duck Commander, you should know how to hunt, right? Willie Robertson has kind of been chill and not really focusing on, he's not like how do they say it in the show? Now I'm forgetting what they say, but like he is partially involved, but he has other things, being a grandpa and other priorities. And of course, Duck Commander has so many other activities going on and so many other businesses underneath the main one. We have Sadie's podcast being one of them. I know JohnLuke, he has his own coffee shop where he makes his own coffee. You're going to see that in this episode. Bella, she helps run things. She supposedly in the show that she works the store, but also her husband has a vintage store called General Vintage. Uncle Si is hilarious. I know many of you guys who are fans of the show already know that he's so funny. And I was texting my parents, I think they were watching the show too, and I was saying, oh my gosh, Uncle Si is hilarious. I literally laughed out loud at his comments. And I think I was listening on Sadie's podcast a while ago, and she was talking about how they added him to the show. And I think he wasn't even a part of the original cast, but like a producer had overheard him and just being himself, and was wondering, why isn't this guy a part of the show? As we all know now, he's one of the fan favorites because he's so funny. So I was like, man, this dude is hilarious. I love him.
Uncle Si was so weird. And then when the show happened, because here's the thing, you don't get a reality TV show unless you're weird. You see, you gotta look around at the other reality TV stars and you gotta realize the company you're in. Everyone is a little off, okay? And I'm saying we are too. But that's how we grew up. And so we knew my mom, when she would watch reality TV, she was like, Willie, your family has potential for this. Y'all are a little different. And you build duck calls, for a business. That's funny. And so, anyways, they pitched a show. It was actually on the Outdoor Channel first, but because it did so well, got picked up at A&E. And Uncle Si was not in the mix of characters. He was not one of the people because, again, he was crazy, but didn't realize that crazy was going to be so funny, on TV. And they came down to film, and Uncle Si, I think, did, one little scene. And everyone was like, why isn't he in this? He's hilarious. Because, again, kind of the more extreme you are in reality TV, like the better. And you don't have to ask him to be extreme. He just is extreme. And so it's just funny. It's so funny to see how he has really just exploded.
Gone from your weird, crazy uncle to
the guy I just...
famous Uncle Si.
Yeah, who freaked me out, busting in my house playing poker by himself, and now everyone's like, where's Uncle Si? Does he really drink tea all the time? He really does. Is he really that crazy? He really is.
I didn't watch Duck Dynasty when it was on TV. I actually started following the family when it went off the air. Now, I maybe watched 1 or 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes of the show, but I got really involved with the family, following them on social media, and that's how I was excited. That's why I was excited to see the continuation come out. Now, what I love about the show is it's very clean, and honestly, I used to watch reality TV when I was younger. I stopped watching it because it's just trash and drama and manufactured drama. And I know in reality TV, having friends who have worked on reality TV and still work on reality TV, a lot of the things are created. And even in an old internship that I had, I asked about a specific show. And in this specific show, they mentioned that they'll kind of follow along with whatever the person's schedule already is, and then they'll go film it. I do know sometimes that they'll create scenarios. Okay, because we need to have this conversation of Sally and Benny talking about the drama between so-and-so and so-and-so. So let's go to a coffee shop and do it. But what I love about this show, it's just clean. The whole family can watch. And any drama is like competition, or we're going to race to this or that, or oh no, what's nothing like, oh, did you see that so-and-so slept with so-and-so? And so-and-so is not talking to her because I can't stand that. Like, I cannot. And I think as you grow spiritually, things change. Your heart wants away from the world, and it likes a more calmness in it. I mean, I know it for sure. And I think it's just pretty cute. It's just kind of chill, what we expect from Duck Dynasty and from what I've seen from the older episodes. And a lot of times in reality TV, producers are feeding lines. From what I know, producers feed lines. They'll tell you what to say. They'll have you reenact things, or they specifically cast dramatic characters because they won't really have to give them too much to say because they know they're crazy or psychotic. So a lot of times, unfortunately, they'll give them alcohol, provide alcohol-fueled parties because they've already cast people with personalities that are super negative, and they know it will come out. So in this case, you're not going to see a bunch of drunks in any of that, so you can't really manipulate the characters other than sometimes setting up a situation or telling them, hey, let's talk about this. And so, of course, you're going to see some of that on the series. And what I love about it, it's all clean, and I think that the family does a good job of opening up, but also keeping some privacy. So I think a lot of times people always assume that if you are on social media, or if you are on like a reality show, that you're going to be one to sit there and just expose everything about your life. That is not always true. I think a person, especially a Christian who is good with, who's opened up on social media like Duck Dynasty, that you have some sort of balance of your life. Like for me, I have social media. I'm here on YouTube. But there's a lot of things that I don't post about my life because my family life, my relationships are super private to me. I think people don't understand sometimes the anxiety I feel about, oh, should I post this? Should I post that? Even if it's just a picture of people in my life. So if you, for example, on social media, you may see pictures of me a lot of times and not a lot of pictures of all my friends. I'm getting a little bit better about sharing, but sometimes the reason why I don't do that many times is because my social media, like my friends, I don't know if they want to be all out there and exposed, and I will not do that to anyone. And I like to keep my circle close. Like I said, most of the time you're not going to see pictures of my parents or all the friends that I have, or people close to me, because I like to protect their privacy, and I like keeping that to myself. And I think there's a balance. I know a lot of times, okay, so I've watched the first season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I started to watch the second, and I was like, no. Too much drama, too much immorality, too much overshare, too much trying to be famous. I'm like, trust me, the fame world, it's not good. It is not good. In fact, In Hollywood, people, obviously you know this, news reporters, like mainstream news outlets, care about top dollar. That's how it is, honestly. And a lot of news outlets, of course, care about getting the bigger story and making money. So they're going to ask questions to poke. And a lot of people who are reality stars, they want to be famous. So they'll say whatever, or they'll be open to engaging in drama. No. But what I like about Duck Dynasty is their show, like I mentioned this earlier, is not about that. It is about sharing the gospel and, of course, just being good, clean entertainment. And that's why my spirit felt at peace watching it, and I really enjoyed it. Spoiler. If you don't want any major spoilers, stop the video now. All right, we know that Phil Robertson recently passed. Now, in the show, Corey mentions that he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, early onset of Alzheimer's. And at the end of the show, you're going to see Willie, talking. And he's talking to Phil. And I cried at the end because you could see Phil, like Willie asked him a question and he responded. And he picks his hand up slowly and he gives a thumbs up. And then it ends in memory of Phil Robertson. Oh my gosh. It was so sad, even thinking about it now. But yeah, I think that they did a great job of how they ended the show. And I'm looking forward to what the rest of the season, I think they're filming season 2 already, is going to be filled with. So I think overall my review is, if you want a good, clean Christian show that's the whole family can watch, you're not going to have to cover anyone's ears or eyes, definitely check that show out. And I know that's why the show did so well in general, was because families were able to come together and see themselves. And they're a rich family, but they're just so normal, so down to earth, so everyday, which is why people connected so well with them. And I think in an interview Sadie was talking on her podcast, and she said that A&E had tried to fill that specific spot where her family used to be, and they hadn't been able to find anyone that could match their numbers. And it's true, when the show got off the air, people were still craving their content because they're like, it's the one show, I'm pretty sure, that the whole family can watch that honored the Lord. And of course, what I think is interesting, at the end of the show, so maybe a mini spoiler, it's not like too dramatic, but I think it was cute. You're gonna see Sadie praying at the end of the show. As you guys know, in the original show, they had prayers at the end where they gathered around a table. And this one wasn't exactly around a table. They were kind of all standing up. And it was after Rebecca gave birth and she came back to her house, which you're going to see also Willie cooking with Corey to help prepare, because they were all having food for her. Sadie prayed. And if you guys know anything about Sadie's ministry, she has Live Original. She has her podcast, which she films on, like the family where they live, or Duck Commander, I'm sorry, where Duck Commander's at. And she goes on tour and all these things. So it's like she found herself. And her podcast is so encouraging for young girls who are trying to follow the Lord and how they date and the things that they watch. They pay attention, and it's just fun entertainment. And what I love about her podcast is she brings people on that are not just influencers her age, no, but she knows, like a Titus 2 sort of thing, where you bring older women on to come mentor the next generation. So yes, that is my kind of review / just telling you what the show is. So if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Of course, follow me on social media. If you've watched the show, what is your favorite part of the first episode? And will you be watching future episodes? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm Brittany Valadez for BravelyDaily.com. God bless, and I'll see you next one.